Tracee Ellis Ross is always one of those people. Let me
Hey,
Katie, how's it going? First of all,
today's a little heavy, but I am great. It's also the day that my big first feature film premieres.
so excited for you. Let me just start with, I love the movie. I saw a screening of it, but first, I want to all the things, but I want to start with, and how are you doing? I know that obviously, you know, we are all right now, I think, dealing with a lot, especially in the Black community. So I wanted to just see, how are you doing and how are you feeling with everything that's been going on?
My heart is heavy. I mean, we were already in a very surreal time with this pandemic. And then the last couple of weeks and then yesterday, just so much happening. And so my heart is heavy, and I haven't completely been able to process what I'm feeling. So I don't totally have the language. This morning in my meditation, you know, often when I can't settle myself in the morning, I'll ask myself, what do I have need of? And it was to be connected to my Black brothers and sisters in this moment, because it really feels heavy. And so I put up that Instagram post. And at the same time, you know, I had a vision for myself of waking up on this morning, the morning that my first big leading role in a feature film, that it would feel a little bit different. And I think that's part of the reality of life, is that we learn to hold very conflicting emotions, complex things at the same time, and that joy is revolutionary in the midst of this. And so my heart is heavy, and I am also very excited to share with the world something that I feel so excited about and that I worked really hard on, and that was me stepping through a really big fear of mine and also towards a big dream of mine.
I love what you said, joy is revolutionary. I think that that's so poignant. I mean, I think obviously right now we're all hoping that, you know, the name George Floyd doesn't just become another hashtag. And that hopefully there, you know, is actually more that comes out of this moment. But, you know, as a community, we also have to find the joy. And I thought the fact that you say joy is revolutionary, so I love that so much. And I think that films like the one that you are a part of are one of the things that, you know, are bright light during this time. So tell me a little bit about, tell me all the things. Why the high note? Like this is the moment that you wanted to do a feature film and that you're like, okay, and I'm going to sing.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, I have had the honor of playing two long-running people in life, Joan Carroll Clayton and now Bo Johnson, right? So my life has been very full and fulfilling and wonderful. I will be honest that during Girlfriends and when Girlfriends ended, the pearly gates of Hollywood did not open. And I didn't have tons of scripts. I haven't been turning down feature films. Ow. It is what it is. It's fine. And then I got to the point during Blackish where it was really for me, well, now that I've waited, what's the thing I want? What's the thing that's going to be special enough for me to walk into that space of the big screen, and also that was going to be worthy of my time, because we do a lot of episodes on Blackish and we work really hard and we are mostly working all the time. And then this script came along and I chased it. I loved it so much for so many reasons. Well, I'll tell you some of the big ones. One, the overarching message of this film was so good that no matter the place, no matter the phase, no matter the time of your life, no matter what people are telling you, no matter what the world expects of you or wants from you, no matter how people want you to stay in a lane, it is never too late to become more of yourself. It is never too late to change lanes. It is never too late for you to go for your dreams. It is never too late for you to listen to the fire and the joy and the passion that is inside you. And that overarching theme of this movie was just so important. I felt it was universal in what people could identify with, and also so specific and personal to me, because it made me realize and remember this dream that I have to sing. And this character was singing. So it was like a combination of all of it. The fact that it's a story about two women who are on parallel paths, also going after her dreams. The woman, Maggie, played by Dakota Johnson, who plays my assistant, that we aren't two women against each other. We're two women on that parallel path and story. The fact that we are two women who are telling stories of our own narratives and inner dialogues and our own dreams, as opposed to our stories in context of a man. That it's the story of two female leads doing that. That the product, the result of this movie is not that we find the man, what is it, the white shining, what is that expression?
White knight in shining armor.
Yeah, the knight in shining armor. That's like the point of the movie, that the point of the movie is becoming more yourself. Those were things that were so exciting to me and so special and so worthy of me walking through this, towards this dream and through some big fear around singing.
It's so crazy because as I was watching it, I was like watching Grace Davis, who is my cousin, Arianna Davis, Grace Davis. I feel like we're cousins. I feel like watching Grace Davis, but then also watching TRACEE Ellis Ross. Like, it was like you both simultaneously stepping into this moment where you're like singing, and I like got chills watching because I was like, this is her moment. How did it feel for you the first time you watched yourself singing on the big screen, if you've seen it yet?
I saw it once, and it was wonderful and terrifying and exciting. And then when it finished, I thought, oh my God, what a nice feel-good movie. Like, so often, like there's not a bad thing. Like, it's like, it just, I left and I was like, wow, what a treat to just go and enjoy a movie. And I'm so grateful that in this time that we're in, that this movie will offer a bit of feel good, a bit of joy in the midst of so much heaviness, a moment to escape.
It did for me, for sure. And I really related because I started my career as Gail King's assistant. And so the relationship between like Maggie and Grace in the movie, like, I love that whole dynamic between them. It was giving me like Devil Wears Prada vibes, but like more feel good.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not quite the Devil Wears Prada, but yeah.
Like, Grace is a way much nicer boss, as was Gail. But I was curious, I know you used to work in fashion and you worked in retail. I mean, do you remember what it was like when you were an assistant? Like, was there anything crazy that you ever had to do, like going to get green juice for your boss or any of that?
As you said that, I was like, no, but then I remembered I worked for, when I left, I was working in the fashion industry as a fashion assistant. And then I left Mirabella magazine and went to New York magazine, and we headed up the fashion department with a very small crew of us. And her name was Grace. It's so weird. I think her name was Grace. That's so weird. Anyway, we didn't have an ice machine, but she liked her Pepsi and she liked it with ice. So at night, before we would leave the office, I would make plastic cups with water at the bottom and put them in the freezer. And she would pour the soda and use her straw constantly during the day, like poking at the ice. She was a great boss, but that was a funny thing that I did.
Little things. I love that movie. I thought that this dynamic was so great. Also, the soundtrack is amazing. The music is amazing. I was curious for you if there is one song on the soundtrack that's your favorite, and also, is there a movie soundtrack that you've always just loved that holds a special place in your heart? Because I think this movie will be that for a lot of people.
Okay, okay. I love the first single that came out, Love Myself. I love the message of it. The woman who wrote it, Sarah Aarons, and the story behind the song is really special. And it was also the first song I heard before we started recording. Like, it was one of the first songs that came in. So it just, I'm sorry, I keep getting texts. Special place in I should have put on Do Not Disturb. Wait, why didn't I do that happen?
That's what I always do, because I'm like, don't text me. Okay.
So, that song just holds a really special place in my heart. But I think one of my favorite songs, I don't know if you guys know who Corinne Bailey Rae is. She's a songwriter and a singer that I am obsessed with, that I've loved my entire